So I'm going to do a quick live on mother and father wound because I thought that was really, really a great question that somebody asked. So we're going to see if we can get that going. And yeah, let's see if we can get some people on this live. Let me share it with the... Let me share it. Hang on for a quick second. Let me share it. Hang on for a quick second. Let me share it with my... About my group, as I always get incredible questions. And so we're going to talk really quickly about the mother and father wound, right? You guys are also, many of you are on the journey of getting healed, right? And you're asking the question, what book should I buy on the mother and father wound? Good question. There's nothing wrong with the question. But what is the core of this? So let's break it down. The core of this, I'm good. I'm glad that you're here. I'm very, very glad, Yessie. Perfect, because I'm doing this for you. So the core of the father and mother wound isn't just of this incarnation. And it has nothing to do with these people, believe it or not. So let's back up. So in multiple incarnations, you had elders and parents. And some people were parents in this incarnation, and they weren't parents in your past incarnation. You had other souls that were your parents, and there started to be a theme that you were never good enough. In every time, you were always, damn near always the black sheep or the golden child in every incarnation. Or you were an orphan, and you had no parents. You had been given up. You weren't chosen. And that would create father and mother wounds. Well, the first thing you need to understand, number one, above all else, I mean, get your books if that's what you want. Go ahead and get the fundamentals on father and mother wounds. No problem. Do that. But if you want to get to the core of it, the core of all this shit that hurts you, and you feel like you're not being heard, you're not being valued, you're not being seen. This, by the way, this kind of shit in mother-father wound, as you well know, will pour into your lover, your beloved, your lover, not being chosen, not them cheating on you, not being chosen, them choosing something else, not being chosen. Again, the theme is not being chosen, valued, cherished, and seen. Basically. And as you incarnate into these loops, you start actually, I'm sorry, but you become a frequency match to that. It's not your fault. Don't get me wrong. You didn't, you're not, you're not co-creating that. It's just, if you don't feel valid enough unto yourself as a soul being, you are going to lean very deeply into people validating you and seeing you and choosing you and cherishing you. And you're going to actually lean into those people who are the most harmful to you. Yes, and they could be your own fucking biological mother and father. Again, let's go back to the Menendez brothers. Perfect example of people who gave birth to you, the womb, the egg, and the semen, and look at the fuckery. Just because someone has given you the womb to push you out into the world doesn't mean they're your mother. Sometimes some of the best mothers or that you've ever had might be somebody else, an aunt, a friend, somebody. But what's the core of this problem? Well, the core of this problem is that you don't feel like you're enough into yourself. You have to get to a point where you are so aware of your soul's beauty. Because you see, if you're really doing shadow work, and evil shadow work, meaning you've been evil in past lives, you really went out deep into your meditation, deep into soul retrieval guided meditations. You've done deep work with excavating through hypnotherapy and self-hypnosis yourself. And you've seen some brutal shit you've done in past lives. And you've put that to rest, realizing that's not who you are anymore. And you've put it to rest that, there are things in this incarnation you regret. But today, as we stand, you're not that person. You would never do anything. You're doing your damnedest to be the best version of yourself. You won't give a fuck if your mother or father approve. You won't give a fuck if your twin approves or your beloved approves. Not because you don't love him. I've used these examples again and again. But the day where you can say, Mommy, I don't really care if you're proud of me. I mean, I'm happy, thank you, but you might have your father saying, I don't believe in you being a psychic. I don't believe you can read tarot. I don't believe you can channel. I think you're delusional. And instead of being triggered, so daddy, I don't give one fuck what you believe in. This is what I do. People call me from all over the world. This is what I do. Or, daddy, I don't give a fuck. I know what I'm doing, and my life has improved since I've gone on the path of meditation and so forth. But I really don't care. I'm not here to be your little me. I'm not here to get your approval. I love you though, daddy, mommy, I love you. But me living my life and me seeing the value of the course of my life is not, you're not included in those decisions. I'm not a fractal image of you. You'll get to the point as you mature in your own validity as a soul light that you won't even explain that. Everything you won't even say that. You'll say, I don't care, but I love you. Let's move on. And if they insist on fucking you over, you'll go, I love you. Bye. This conversation's now over. You'll either get off from the table or you'll hang up the phone. And then you can text them a heart. One emoji, a heart. That's it. The mother and father wound is really an extension. It's actually a representation of you needing validation, confirmation, closure. Use all these fucking words that have been used to oppress our ability to just break through all these veneers, to accept ourselves and being enough to accept ourselves, needing no closure because we've given it, needing no validation because we gave it to ourselves, needing nothing but ourselves to give it to ourselves. It's not even arrogant. It's healthy. You're supposed to. When your 2 and 3 year old starts learning how to walk and run, you want them to look back to make sure that you're there. But you want them to explore the world with feeling safe in exploring the world. And you're not asking them to be you if you're a good parent. You're not asking them to stop and be shy and be unsure in the exploration of the outside world, whether it's walking through the garden, petting a cat, whatever, however, playing with a frog, whatever. That should be what every parent wants for their child. And every parent should want for their child to be the best. This particular person said, my mother said that she does not like the sound of my voice. This is an important thing. First of all, don't think women aren't jealous of their own daughters or fathers not jealous of their sons. I could give you examples until the cows came home and you turned blue. Don't gaslight yourself to think that your father doesn't want you to outdo them or your mother doesn't want you to outdo her. In beauty, in brains, in success. There are some really fucked up people out there that happen to be parents. They're fucked up people, but they happen to be parents. And God bless you, they could be one of your parents. There are parents that will drive their children to take their own lives because they are so good at devaluing, clinging to their Bible or to their other holy books, the Quran or the Torah, while instigating a complete destruction of a young person's feelings of validity of their own starseed impact, recall of who they really, really are. Those are your parents. So if you want to read those books and stay in a 3D, feel free. I'm not judging you. Maybe you need to. Maybe you need to excavate the basic parameters of mother wound and daddy wound and go through that. But to be honest with you, the way I did it, I never read those books, ever. I'm not joking, never. The books I were reading were helping me validate my soul in its light. Books like, and I keep repeating myself, Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls, Becoming Supernatural, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Who's breaking the habit of being yourself? What does that mean? Breaking the habit of being a mini-me of your mommy or daddy. When a person your father or mother say, I don't like the tone of your voice, or I don't like your voice, the sound of your voice, it's irritating me. Ask yourself a question. Do you like their voice? Because I can tell you that I loved my twin's voice. I love my son's voice. I loved my grandmother's voice. I loved the vulnerability of my mother's voice when she started to see me, but I loved her voice, even when she was being an asshole. But so when somebody says something that low, I don't like the sound of your voice, ask yourself this, do you like, but see, it's not about why don't they like my voice? It's about, wait, hang on, that's an interesting thing to say to me. Don't get triggered. Or get triggered into the next question. Wait, hang on. Do I like their voice? Do their voice make me sound happy? Do I feel warm and fuzzy? Do I feel safe when they speak? Is their tone, vibrational frequency a match to mine in terms of me liking it? It's not about you pleasing them. It's about you asking yourself, do they please me? Should I have this person called my mother in my life? Sometimes, and this is true, I had to give myself a year or two of no contact with my mother because it was absolutely destroying parts of me when I was in my 20s and 30s. In fact, my husband noticed it to such a level that he would say, you do your best to work when you're not in contact with her. And it was sadly true. Sadly. I didn't create that. I didn't create that at all. She created that. And she victimized herself by me doing no contact because it was the healthiest thing. Now, do I want you to do that? Not really. I would love it if you could actually get untriggered and unbothered by their fuckery and realize you're talking to a 7-year-old with a fucking problem. That happens to be your mother or father. Did I go out and read books? No, not like that. I read books on, say, women who run with the wolves. That's a hell of a book for a woman to read. Because it talks to you about desire and how women are told not to desire, which would have been your mother would have been raised like that, which means that if you start desiring things she never allowed herself to desire, she will be jealous of you because you have balls and she never did. See, that's where it's not really a mother wound, it's a daughter wound or a son wound. My husband, who was much better looking than his father, much better looking, much more intelligent, taller, much more talented, his father was jealous of him. It happens. You know what was beautiful about us raising our son? We did the exact opposite of the fuckery our parents did to us, and so that we wanted our son to be better than us. We wanted him to be better looking, taller, more powerful, smarter than us. That's the goal of a healthy parent. You want your kid to be smarter than you. A smart ass. That makes you laugh because you realize you did your work correctly. And if your parent doesn't want you to outdo them, you don't have the wound, my friend, they do. It's not your wound, it's theirs. And they're trying to put that on you so that you want them to validate, to be worthy. You want an idiot to actually tell you you're smart. Because you see, only idiots can't see that you're smart. And if they had brains, they wouldn't put you through this shit because they would know, wow, you're smarter than me. My son is actually smarter than me by waves, not because I compare him to myself today, but because I compare him to today at my age and to my age when I was his age. Way smarter. He's 20 years smarter than me. Okay? You're supposed to want that for your children. That's the goal of being a parent. So I think when we call it mother wound and father wound, maybe we should flip it on its back and go, wait, hang on. Is it really my wound or their wound trying to beat the shit out of me, trying to beat the confidence in me, my passion in me, my desires of doing these things in my life to give me the confidence to go out in the world and do it? Is it my wound or their wound? I would say it's their wound. And now it's called the father and mother wound. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense because fucking Christ, many of you really don't need this kind of bullshit in your lives. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments? Let me Any questions or comments? Perfectly said. So that's what I want you to know. That's why I did this for you, my love, and you know who you are. Because that can't continue. This cannot continue and continue and continue. And then there are hundreds of thousands of books on mother wound and father wound and shadow work. Shadow work, okay, because it's your shadows, right? And the shadows of people who have perpetrated their fuckery on you to make you sick mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically. You can't care even if, let's say you decide to become an architect. No training at all. You just read books. Kind of like what Thomas Jefferson did. Did you know that? And because we live in the 21st century, no one would respect you for doing it, by the way. But you've studied everything online. You've studied blueprints. And you decide to build your first home. You decide to actually draw it out. You decide to get the lumber. And you've decided to do something very like Frank Lloyd Wright type of shit, but your own way. You've decided to merge earthships and cob houses, and you've decided to do something magical, and your whole entire family tells you that you're crazy because you've got no actual training. So you take it to city, they approve your plans. Fuck. Because you actually have studied for years, and you know what the fuck you're doing. But no one knows that because as far as they're concerned, you never went to the proper schools. And you accomplish in actually building something magnificent. And finally, after winning awards of this incredible home and being on the cover of Architectural Digest, now suddenly they come up to you going, wow, that's incredible. Your answer should be, yeah, thank you. That's it. No, oh my God, you see me? Oh my God, I feel validated. You finally see my gifts. If that's your response, inwardly or outwardly or both, a mix, you are doing it the wrong way. Not because you're arrogant, but because you have to give your inner little girl and inner little boy the validation from the giddy up. When you originate anything, when you outdo anyone in your family, they will try to tear you down. Sometimes the biggest fuckers are in families. And the biggest cheerleaders are soul tribe members. True family members. On a soul level. Not on a blood, I'm now from Mexico, or I'm from France, or I'm from Ireland, or I'm from Nigeria type of bullshit. Sometimes it's something deeper than that. And it has nothing to do with flesh and DNA and blood. And so if you can move into studying souls, the nature of our making, who made us, who was before us, who spoke about our grandeur. This is one of the things that I keep bringing up, the Emerald Tablet, because I think we need to all have a copy. This is absolutely the most important reading you can have this year before the year ends. And I would get the Billy Carson because I looked at different versions, and the Billy Carson seems to be the best one. It's a little clunky in the writing, but he's got some really good footnotes, and you will start sobbing. I did a reading. It's on a live I did. It's uploaded if you want to listen to me talking about what these things mean. Okay? Because it might be so metaphoric that you lose the plot, which is fine. We can do it again. If you want me to do it again, just give me a DM and I'll do it again. And we'll talk about each stanzas and break it down to what it means. But what I'm going to say to you is that they're not really your wounds. They never were. Your wounds came from all your incarnations as a monk, as a nun, being beaten as a slave, being told you were nothing, being orphaned, being lost, being abandoned by lovers who promised you everything on multiple incarnations and lied. And the two most important people in your life, the father figure and the mother figure, very early on betrayed you. This is why the Menendez case is so incredible. It's an archetype of the fuckery that parents are capable of doing to their children. It's a wake-up call. It's not just about essayed abuse. It's about the psychological damage it does to human beings. It's about how people have been forced into marriages that they knew was wrong. People are still forced into marriages. and they can actually pick up and leave. But no one seems to understand the psychological damage of being with parents who have brainwashed you from the time you came out of the womb. So your job in this incarnation is to untangle you out of the brainwashing of multiple father wounds and mother wounds from multiple incarnations, and from authority figures that told you you were never going to amount to shit, that belittled you in the middle of school and classrooms, that made you do a math problem on the chalkboard in front of everyone, knowing damn well that you were barely hanging on to a C. Okay? Those moments are moments that actually lobotomize your passions. So when you have an understanding of the value of your soul, not what you look like in the mirror, not how much you have in your bank, not your idea of success. Your idea of success was given to you by other entities that were the slaves of the 1%. The value of your being is you seeing who you are in the purest context of what that means as a soul. And you can't really know what a soul is and all of its expansiveness unless you study what a soul is. And all of the archetypal bullshit that we had to, eating shit and acting like it was sweet. So the books that you need to read, pull out your pens, you got homework. Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. After that, Destiny of Souls by Michael Newton. Any book by Dr. Joe Dispenza that makes you rock. For the woman, you're going to have to read Women Who Run with the Wolves. And you're going to get a hard copy because you want to go ahead and open it wherever. And you're going to read it non-linear, but as an oracle book. For the men, Iron John by Robert Bly. You're going to want to also read any book by Rampa T. Lopsang. Rampa, R-A-M-P-A-T, like the initial T, Lopsang, L-O-B-S-A-N-G. You might start with The Third Eye or The Saffron Robe. You want to read books by Khalil Gibran. The Prophet is a good book, because it will give you ideas of good behavior, of the expansiveness of our interactions in 3D and how constrained we are, how afraid we are, and how we must understand the value of pain, the value of joy, the value of labor, the value of marriage, the value of children. It's a philosophical and incredibly spiritual book. It's by Khalil Gibran. It's called The Prophet. You definitely want to read The Emerald Tablet by Billy Carson. You want to get books on chanting, because when you chant the mantras by Thomas Ashley Farron, you will actually learn chanting and you will understand, and you will see massive changes in your life as you chant. Okay, I love the beautiful art you post as your background each life. Thank you. Appreciate that. Rampa Lopsang. Thank you. Iron Man. Both books by Michael Newton have helped me up immensely. Exactly. Women, you're so sweet. Thank you. You're writing it down. Thank you. And those are just like some books. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I could go on and on. But for now, once you tell me you've read those books, once you've told me, how about this? Once you've told me you've read half the books, in my next live, whichever live comes up, go ahead and let me know. Okay? Another book is going to be The Surrender Experiment by Michael Newton. So you understand the problem, Michael Singer, excuse me. The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, so you can understand the problem of the monkey mind. Then you're going to read anything about the Mitchell's Hedges crystal skulls, dealing with the meditation. Actually, I'm going to give you the exact book because it's not easy to find. Actually, hang on. Let me see if I can find it right now. I might have put it away. Damn it. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, I did do it. I have it in my library. Oh wait, hang on. I have it. I knew I had it somewhere on the floor. Okay. So this book is called Mysteries of the Crystal Skull Revealed by Sandra Bowen, Bowen. And there's 3 writers, and you don't have to write it down. Nick Nicerino or Joshua Shapiro. There's three different. Now this concept of the Mitchell Hasdell skull has been debunked and bunked and debunked and bunked. It doesn't matter. They were debunking the Shroud of Turin, and finally they're coming back saying it's real. And the ones that are saying it's real are kind of moving. They're losing the plot because there were 2 Shrouds of Turin. One was made in the Middle Ages. I think it would have been made during the Crusades in France, and it was made as a holy relic. It was made. There was a fake one, but the real one has been carbon dated. But fuck carbon dating. They found pollen, seeds, pieces of flowers that only can be found in Palestine. That's the only place in the world you can find that. So, and it was carbon dated. The other book that you definitely want to get is called The Archangel Guide to Ascension by Diane Cooper and Tim Wilde. Right? Okay, so I've given you a lot of books, but that is going to be much more potent for your power than buying a book on the mother wound and the father wound that has a very static 3D approach. Because ultimately what we have to do is get you to have confidence. And that is not going to come in a 3D spectrum of thinking. Does that make sense? It doesn't come from that. It can't. You're not there. You know, it might have helped you before you started your awakening. It could have helped you maybe to some level, right? But it still wasn't going to heal you because you would have said, great, now I know what it is. Now what do I do? Exactly. What do you do now? But when you understand the concept of the fact is that this wound, which came from this womb, in other words, the woman's chalice, right? Your mother in this incarnation, that in some cases, honestly, all she was a vehicle. That was it. Many of us romanticize this concept that we want to have all this and that with this woman who happens to be our mother or this man who happens to be our father, right? We want this connection of familia, right? You're my father, you're my mother. We have a bond. But what's incredibly fantastic in a fucked up way is that here we have the archetypes of how sick and the level, the spectrum of toxicity that are in families, right? Various spectrum. And we got the ultimate worst spectrum with the Menendez brothers trial. If you look at trial 1, I dare you not to cry. Because they did everything you can imagine that you should never do to a child. There are women right now selling that. Right now, as I'm speaking, there's a woman right now who's the mother of a child who's selling her child to you know what for you know what. Right now. So try not to get... Now, if you have a parent that's somewhat toxic but isn't doing all of these extreme shit, but they still don't believe in your validity, your value, your ascension, your evolution, what you're interested in, then be compassionate, because it's like talking to a 5-year-old who doesn't understand that Father Christmas doesn't exist. Father Christmas being 3D, the Matrix, and the government is really on your side. You can't talk to those people. You just can't. And so the best thing you can do is bend one knee and speak to them on their level and stay there. Don't fucking try to, stretch your wings and try to show them how important you are as you ascend and grow up, and you want everyone on the bandwagon of ascension because I love you, Daddy. If Daddy doesn't want to grow up out in the Matrix, then please listen or find on YouTube. I have one, but go ahead and find on YouTube Plato's Parable of the Cave. It doesn't matter if it's a stranger. It doesn't matter if your brother, your cousin, your sister, or God forbid your father or your mother. If they don't want to know what you know and they don't want to heal, let it not be your wound, but theirs. Close the door. Do not make that your wound. Have massive compassion, do the best you can, and if you're blessed, and they are very, very blessed, you will be there on their deathbed to help them heal as much as they can by rubbing their feet, by giving them their favorite foods, by massaging their hands, their shoulders, and being there lovingly holding their hands so they're not freaking out when they're dropping their bodies. That's the best you can do for that situation. Don't let that wound be yours, because honestly, that is not yours. There's a lot of things they've been teaching us over the last 50 years that is not ours. And because they had absolutely no spiritual context to marry, mother, father wound, and all of these other, attributes and little, I don't know, like diagnoses and this, that, and the other, that we were walking down hallways where there was never fucking windows or doors to open into clarity. It never gave us the healing we needed. And the way you heal a lot of this stuff, like almost damn near overnight. I'm not joking. In some case overnight, in some case it takes years, because your cemented 3D brain just can't absorb this. And one day you go, holy fuck, I get it. And it's like a waterfall of awakening. And then you wake up and you go, my God, but I love my mom, but I don't give a fuck what she thinks about me. The poor pathetic woman. You know it, and I know that there are women out there that will have boyfriend. It's like a fucking revolving door from one man to another. 5-year-old, 6-year-old little girl, 7-year-old little boy, whatever, 8-year-old little boy, little girl. And they don't give a fuck what the kid says about being SA'd. They don't get all, because what they want is a man in the house. There are women that pathetic. And they're mothers. So you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm getting at here? And then you have amazing women who never thought the man would leave him. And they're single mothers. And I brought this up before. Like this, I just did it 3 days ago. But I have to bring it up again. And these women have made a commitment to celibacy and to just kicking ass, making money. Why making money? Because fucking money is going to give them some freedom to buy a house, to give a better life for their child or children. And there's no way in hell a man's going to fuck this shit up with their crap. And when they're ready, when things are settled, then they'll go out. And they trust the universe that they won't even have to go on a dating app. The right man will come into their lives through introduction or through just a fated, divine, destined meeting. There are some wonderful mothers out there. They're honest and loving and protective. And they want their kids to do better, look better, be better, have more than they ever had. And if that's not your parent, that's not your wound. You've got a fucked up parent. And just be honest with you. You're not fucked up, they are. Okay? That's it. I don't know how else I can add to that. Does anybody have any solitude for 4 years now? And it's painful. That's how I feel about my mom today. I'm so sorry. It's hard. One of the things I did that I'll share with you, and it actually helped me, I remember writing a 30-page letter. I'm not joking. I think I was 30 years old, and I wrote I'm not joking, I think it was 30 plus pages, and all handwritten, of course. And I sat on that letter. It said what she had done, how I felt, how it had harmed me, what happened after that, the next thing that had harmed me, and blah, 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 blah. And I sat on that letter. It was in a big fat envelope because, I couldn't fold it. It was too thick. It was a small book. And one day my husband said he saw it sitting there with the address, return address, all of that. And he said, are you going to mail it? I go, well, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't mail it. Maybe I should just burn it. Maybe it's just for me. And he said, but do you want her to know what this is? And I went, yeah, I do. But I don't know. She'll probably treat me like I'm shit. He goes, well, she's already treating you like shit. So really. So guess what? I mailed it. She did not respond. We did not speak for a year. And later on, actually on her deathbed, she said, that letter really hurt me. And I said, Mom, you're saying the wrong things. She said, what do you mean? I said, for me to write you a letter, you must have hurt me. And it is actually about me because I'm your daughter. See, I'm not the elder, you are. And she said, well, I mean, I don't think it was fair. I go, really? Why don't you think it was fair? Well, because I don't think some of these things were true. I go, well, then I'll tell you what. I love you. I really don't care if you don't think it was true. I handed it back to you. You don't think it's true? It's okay. What would you like for lunch? That was it. Oh, I just want some ravioli. Okay, I'll make you some ravioli. And would you like a glass of wine? And that was it. Because I had gone 30 years, want some ravioli. Okay, I'll make you some ravioli. And would you like a glass of wine? And that was it. Because I had gone 30 years later to not give a fuck if she believed in that or not. But at the time, at the age of 30, it was important for me to hand her shit back to her. Whether or not she wanted to accept it, realize it, say, yes, I fucked up, that was wrong. None of that was ever discussed. It got to a point, and you have to get there, where you don't care if they know. You know what happened. And you know how it harmed you then. And you hand it back to them, and you call it a day. That's healing your mother wound. That's healing your father wound. That's basically closing the door and going, I want nothing. I have too much to do in this incarnation to fuck around another 30 years on this shit. Here it is. There it is. I didn't keep a copy. And that's it. And if that's not your reality, right, then that's okay. And that includes being abused by a boyfriend, their husband, whatever. If they don't believe you, it doesn't matter. There's a point where you better get to a place where it doesn't matter to you. You know what happened. And you move away. And you can still give them love and give them the final grace and mercy of being the one hand of love that they could not give to you, but you gave to them. That's closure. You give it to yourself. And that reverberates into when they drop their body and their ego and their denial and their self, when they go, what's the word I want to use? When they gaslight you, they gaslight themselves, and they can't be that bad. And I would never have done that. All that shit goes out the window. When they die, they get to replay their whole entire life. And they get to see what happened, because you don't have Alzheimer's. And you know with certainty these are the events that happen, without a doubt. And they will replay it, and they will see it, and they will heal. And the grace that you gave them is going to be their medicine. And that will help them in their next loop into 3D. But your growth as a soul has to be so expansive that not even your father wound or mother wound will ever block the doorway. Does that make sense? And that's going to be really important for you as you progress, okay? Because if you keep looping into this bullshit, you'll be here till the next incarnation, kicking the same damn rocks. Okay? Thank you. Yes, Alchemist Moon. Anything else? So it's going to be very critical for you to read all these books I just mentioned. Read them again and again. Read them in your sleep. I'm not joking. Brainwash yourself out of the brainwashing. And move into your own self-realization that your soul, not your ego, fuck your ego, because this ego today, my ego in this incarnation is Tony. My last incarnation, one of my many, was in Palestine. The one before that, I was a Russian boy. The one before that, I was a nun in 16th century Italy as a nun. These are temporary egoic personalities. They are not who I am. It's a role I'm playing temporarily in this particular incarnation based on the soul mission I chose, right? So don't get locked and loaded into these personalities. Thank God. They're temporary. And you can train these personalities to be as the best versions of what they can be in this incarnation, using your soul as the conduit to that, as the director to that, directing traffic so the ego doesn't get out of hand. The triggering of anger, another great book you should read is Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. Anger by Thich Nhat Hanh. Why? Because it's okay to be angry. But how you're going to be angry, meaning, yeah, be angry all you want. You have every right to be angry about X, Y, and Z. But the last thing you want to sit in a text is, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. That's not communication. That's a little boy, a little girl lashing out in an adult body. That's not healing work, my friend. That's just you throwing rocks at the glass house. There's no purpose there. But anger, righteous anger, and that's what you need to learn. We all need to learn and master that. Righteous anger is what Angel Michael does, righteous anger. And how does that look? It means in a text you go, you know, I know my truth and I know what I've experienced, and I'm really sorry that you don't see it, but that's okay. Because you know what? I still love you. But right now I feel like we shouldn't talk about it anymore. There's nothing to talk about. When you decide to wake up and be honest and critically fierce about being fair with me, then we can resume this conversation. But until then, there's no reason to continue this conversation. It's a dead-end street. But I love you. Have a good night. And that's it. Or for a lover, I want only the best for you. Blessings to you. Even though it'll feel like chewing on broken glass, it's something you better master. Why? Because there's grace in that for you. The grace is yours, not for them so much. It's for yours. So that not to put yourself on a pedestal, but to diffuse this toxic anger into something that is still in your truth, still sharing how you feel. The words can be more fierce than what I just shared, but they shouldn't be insulting, and they should not actually explode into I hate you. Because you don't hate them. You hate their behavior. You hate how they don't honor and see you. You hate their cowardliness. That's what you hate. And you hate the fact that they're so good at gaslighting themselves so well that now they think they're going to gaslight you. That's what you hate. And that needs to be healed within you. They can't give that to you. How the fuck are they going to give that to you? They can't even fucking... A person like that, I wouldn't trust them to tie my shoes. If they told me the sky was blue, I'd get a second opinion. You can't trust people that sick in the mind. And if they happen to be your parents, that's the last thing you want to do. So I'm not trying to preach you to, walk away from your parents for life, but I'm saying that maybe you might need a break. And tell them why. And tell him, you have a toxic fucking boyfriend, Mom. And he stares at me, Mom. And I've told you about it, Mom. But you still choose him over your own daughter, Mom. And you're in denial, Mom. And that's toxic and sick as fuck, Mom. Are you that desperate to get laid, Mom? Don't talk to me like that. Well, what is it then? Because he's a drug addict, or he's a gambler, or he has no money. There's nothing he's bringing to you. What is he bringing to you? What is it? Does he make you loved? Does he make you feel cherished? Does he make you feel... What is it that you would keep somebody like that and force me to be in the same room with this kind of person? Would you want me to date someone like that? You sometimes have to parent your parents. But if they still don't get it and they're still going to gaslight you, then you better close that door, because it's not worth dealing with. And toxicity in families run because everyone's so afraid of losing family. But what I found over the years, and when you close one door, 3 doors open. I'm not joking, but you better close those doors for a while in family. And some doors, unfortunately, will be closed forever. A toxic brother, a toxic sister, a narcissistic uncle, a crazy fucking aunt. Sometimes it's for good. Sometimes there's no response needed on your part. It's just, fuck this, in your own mind, blocked. I'm done. I'm not going to teach you how to have integrity and honor and a heartbeat. That's not my job. My job is to ascend, grow, learn, teach myself, learn from others like me, and find my tribe And my frequency, as I raise it, it's like a magnet. It's like, I mean, I'm not kidding. A magnet. They'll come to you. You'll meet people that are amazing, who probably have the same stories. But I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to bring him up again. My son's friend Dylan, who died this year of an overdose. He died of an overdose because his parents were Christian, because they thought they knew everything, because they had put him down. He was a Starseed. He met my son. They were like going to high school together. My son was spiritual. He was spiritual. And he got addicted very young. And he got addicted because his parents were stripping him down and stripping him down and stripping him down. And they came to visit him in England. And it must have been bad, because within a week of them coming, after 2 years of no contact, he was 24, my son's age. That's why I hit him hard. He died. He OD'd on H. He must have needed to soften the edges because he couldn't take it. And he was too young to do it on his own. And he actually believed he had more respect for his parents than for his soul. And it took his life. And these MFers will still to this day not realize what they did to their son, because they did that. You better understand, are my parents dangerous to my very thriving? Are my parents dangerous? Because maybe in the younger years of your life, you may need to tell them, I can't talk to you. In fact, you know what? You're fucking dangerous. It's best if I don't talk to you. I love you very much. But if loving you hurts me to this point where I don't want to be here anymore, or I got to take something to make it right, then maybe we need to not talk for a couple years. And do it. Let them know why. A good parent will never stop trying to contact you. A good loving parent, if my son, I'm going to tell you the truth. My son and I didn't talk when he was, 19. From 18 to 19. And every day I saged him. And every day I would try to reach him. And every day I would send him poems. And every day I would ask my husband, can I talk to him? He doesn't want to talk to you. Okay. And every day I would sage him. And every day I would do a ho'oponopono. And one day my husband called and said, he wants to see you. And that was the beginning of our new life. A good parent will never stop. And yes, I'm a good parent. There was a misunderstanding. There were things he needed to understand. And he was going from boyhood to teenagehood to young man. And he was dealing with his own shit. And his father was not telling me. Not his father's fault. I will never make my husband responsible for that. But what I will say is, never once did I stop reaching out to my son. Never. It was every day. And then after almost a year of persevering, of asking, of calling, of leaving texts, of links, of music, of whatever, and poetry I was writing, for real. We never looked back. The relationship was reestablished, and it's been healing and healing and healing and healing ever since. If your parent's not willing to fight for your love, then because you see, it is the parent's job to fight for your love. Do you get that? Because if the child doesn't want to talk to you, there's a misunderstanding, or there's a perception that needs to be cleared. You could call it misunderstanding, or maybe that's their truth and that's my truth, and we haven't been able to talk about it. But I can tell you one thing: it is not the child's job to fight for the love of the parent. It is the parent's job to fight for the child's love, adult, teenager, or whatever. And when parents are fighting for the love of their child, and a woman, and I'm just straight up, there are women out there who are preventing men from having relationships with their daughters and their son, and they're good men. They're not weirdos, they're good men. If a woman you know is doing that, you should call her out, because there are a lot of women doing that shit. A lot. If a man is fighting to be with their child, you better fucking open the door. Your problems with that man is not your children's problem. It isn't. It's your problem with that man. And you do not punish your child for looking like the husband. I could tell you shit I've seen, the unfairness of how parents manipulate their children against another parent. It's sickening. But a child's job is to feel what they're feeling and a parent's job, even if the child is, a young or becoming a young adult, is to clarify for them, to explain. Yeah, we as parents need to explain ourselves to our children. That's right. That's how it works. That's right. I fucked up. And I fucked up because X, Y, and Z. And I'm sorry. That's a parent's job. Because you certainly, a good parent has had to have the child, adult child, in their life until they die. That's normal. And beyond that, to guide the adult that they become from the other side of the veils. Because there's a soul bond. So many of you will become incredible parents. All you have to do is do one thing. Whatever hurt you that your parents do, the fucking opposite. All of it the opposite. Everything the opposite. And you will be magnificent parents. You'll be generous. You'll be loving. You'll fuck up. You'll repair. You'll chase your child. You'll make sure they get it. You'll respect them. You won't just say no because I'm your parent. You'll say no, sweetie, because la 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 la. You'll give them answers to why they can't do X, Y, and Z. You won't just be some kind of bully. That's why this Menendez case is a perfect archetype of the worst parent, mother and daughter, mother and father. Because I don't know if you know, but the mother was essaying the boys as well. So it's a perfect archetype of what's possible, right? Money, Beverly Hills, fame. It's not money that makes you a success, my friends. It's your heart. And so as you go through this journey of trying to untangle yourself from the mother wound and the father wound, if you see your value as your soul, you will actually never look back, and you'll realize that these are just 3D realities that are temporary. They don't define you unless you allow it to define you. The realities that are temporary. They don't define you unless you allow it to define you. You're not losing much if every time you go into the presence of a parent, you feel like shit afterwards. You're not losing much if you go in front of the president of a boss that treats you like shit if you quit your job. You give them 2 weeks notice and you're fucking done. No one talks to you like that. You'll find that you have a lot of respect for yourself, so much so that no one will ever be able to speak to you in any way except with either respect or love. Meaning love is respect. True love. And if it's just a business or a friendship, with respect, with care, and carefulness, not respect, with care, and carefulness, not sloppiness. And that's going to be important for you. How you're treated by sloppy people isn't a mirror thing, okay? Unless you're a welcome mat. If you're a welcome mat, then yes, it's a mirror thing. If you are standing in your power, in your light, it isn't a mirror thing. They're assholes, and what can you do? There's nothing you can do. There's no mirror work to be done here. Don't get entrenched in this stupid ass mirror work thing that Twin Flame Universe used on every fucking question because they didn't have the answers. That's a classic New Age. I don't have the answer. Oh, it's got to be mirror because they didn't have the answers. That's a classic New Age. I don't have the answer. Oh, it's got to be mirror work. Yeah, because they don't know what the fuck to say to you. That's a classic gaslighting. It's very well done. New Age gaslighting. All right. Let me read your comments. And I think solitude for 4 years now. I'm really sorry about that. You see. Any questions or comments? I hope this helps. VDRS, I added you to the group, but I didn't realize I added you twice, I think. 2 different versions. Any questions or comments by anyone? Thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. Anything else? Shall we do a reading real quick on the mother wound and father wound on an oracle card? I'm laughing because I'm hoping you feel as light as I feel. Is that cool? So let me go ahead and pull out from the Kali Oracle deck, my perfect deck, Kali Oracle, and let's read, and then we'll call it a night. Shall we? All right, because I did a live earlier today, which was really fabulous with Andromeda Flame about frequency and kind of similar to the self-love, but this was a very important live, and I'll upload that one on my YouTube channel when I'm done tonight. Okay, so you'll have two And the reason why I keep changing the art is that so you can recognize that each episode, each life is different. So you go, oh yeah, I remember that episode. I'm going to look at that on my YouTube channel. That's why I do it, so that it's always you kind of know what you're looking for. I'm catching up on your YouTube lives. Oh, good. All right, guys, you know the drill. Give your angels, guides, and allies permission to guide you. And the question you want to ask is about your mother wound and father wound. And you're going to ask top, middle, or bottom. Top, middle, bottom. Majority wins. Let's do it. Okay. Yes, that's what I've been doing per the artwork. Fantastic. I'm glad that helped. I figured it would. Top. Okay, great. Top. I'm going to go top. Okay, cool. So it's called the Kali Yantra, and it's going to give you chills. I'm not joking. It's number 12. I've read it before recently. That's why I remember what the card is, and it's going to give you chills. So hang on for a quick second. Close your eyes, lay back, get comfy, and I'm going to read it to you. Okay? All right, so it's called 12. 12 is the sacrifice and the victim. It's the hangman and tarot. And it's 3, the balance between the mind, body, and spirit, the Trinity. Let's begin. Kali Yantra. She is your inner power to evoke a positive shift in your circumstances. If anything required for success be lacking, the Divine Mother shall provide it, bringing the divide between you and the manifestation of your intentions. You are crossing a critical spiritual threshold. She is the true guardian and guide. Stay focused on what matters to your heart, and you shall remain faithfully connected to her protective presence within. Allow distractions to fall away and continue to commit to your soul's journey. A more beautiful experience of your life path awaits you. A yantra is a sacred geometric representation of the particular reality of a specific divine being. Here, it is the symbolic and actual entry point into this sacred realm, the inner worlds, the universe of Kali. In gazing at a yantra, allowing your mind to settle and focus upon it, the soul can turn the subtle inner key that opens the gateway to merging with the divine. It is a visual trigger that opens the inner doors of higher perceptions and mystical reconnection to our divine nature. Contemplating a yantra is a method for mystical meditation, the meditation that brings the heart into unity with the higher consciousness of Kali within. As we activate the yantra within our beings and connect with the divine energy it offers, the enlightened body of the deity constellates itself through us. The clearer we are within ourselves and the more connected we become with the deity, the stronger the multi-leveled, multi-dimensional, multi-directional mandala of grace shines forth through us for the spiritual benefit of all beings. In a reading, this signifies that Kali is already working with you. The Kali Yantra in particular is a signifier of the downward flow of grace. It is orientated to the material world and all matters related. It is the cosmic trip switch for spiritual energy. It is orientated to the material world and all matters related. It is the cosmic trip switch for spiritual energy to be attracted towards Earth. It unveils the divine luminosity beneath appearance, and when needed, heals and transforms material reality to align with higher divine will. The yantra of Kali is alchemical and reconstructive. The healing that can emerge through it is unrestricted because she is the spacious vastness of primordial being. She is the birth of all phenomena, which permeates all phenomena and can transform it in all according to her divine will. In a reading, this indicates a transformation of physical concern, so it aligns with the spiritual will of the universe. The downward facing triangle formation in the center of the yantra symbolizes the regenerative power of the divine feminine. You only have to look at how our Earth Mother recovers after fire, flood, and famine to recognize the wisdom power of the divine feminine to renew and restore, even after tremendous destruction. The color red is the blood red of life force, Kali's preferred fuel for destruction and rebirth. Gray represents the liminal realms, neither the black of night nor the brightness of day, but the place between. Many cultures recognize this as the medial realm, a place where magic is most potent. Although Kali is associated with a waning moon, cycles, and darkest night, she is also a medial goddess, a soul doula, a birth and death mother, safely guiding us through the transition and thresholds of our inner and outer lives. In a reading, this indicates that there is power in feelings, as though you no longer belong to the past now, that you are anchored fully in a new way. Kali will manifest her will in the spaces of unknowing, molding and guiding you from within. So your path will be fulfilling to your heart. The subtle channels of energy unlocked through intentional engagement with yantras are further empowered through the placement of hands in a particular posture called mudra. I have, by the way, there's a series of mudras you can look up on my profile, and you may want to learn these various mudras for the various energies. The energy channels of the body are more readily permeated with Kali's essence of fearlessness and strength through assuming this posture. The strong, direct nature of the mudra with the left thumb on top generates clarity and action from feminine wisdom and receptivity rather than masculine logic, and will to direct, let your instincts rather than your, did you hear it? Let your instincts rather than your logic lead you forward at this time. In connecting with the yantra amplified by the mudra, we are powerfully invoking Kali on a human level that empowers us to our physical, emotional, and psychological obstacles and pain to broker our transformation. As you become increasingly attuned to the feelings and sensation of Kali's presence, you will be able to sense her power coursing through your subtle body as you assume the mudra and view the yantra with conscious attention to connect with her. If you have been feeling weak or vulnerable, remember that you are a powerful divine being. Do you understand? She's saying you're a powerful divine being. Divine being. Does that mean you are Jill or Joe or Jackie or Derek? It means you're a divine being. It means that when you drop your body, you are a divine being. It has nothing to do with what's in your bank account, what your FICO score is, what you do for a living. All of that ends. And it should never be part of your consciousness of what is your success. You do not need to act from fear. Instead, trust the inner guidance of the heart as to the how and when to act. Finally, this oracle is a notice of supreme protection. If you suspect that you have been the subject of negative energy, work, or protections from others, that you are being blocked or sabotaged intentionally or otherwise, don't you dare think that parents can't do that. There are parents that will smile in your face and actually believe they want the best for you, while every move they make is to block your success. The Oracle of Kali Yantra is the medicine of clearing and protection that shall nullify the effect. There is no need to dwell upon negative workings of power, nor be intimidated by worldly authority. Place your faith in the ultimate powers of the divine. Now, when I say what I say about parenting and parents, it doesn't mean that your parents are voting for Trump or Kamala and that's it, you're going to pull the plug. Like, don't be silly, okay? Who people vote for is none of your fucking business, honestly. And who you vote for is none of my business or your parents. Okay, don't confuse why you block. You block because they harm you, not because, and they harm you with put downs and little jibs and jabs. You know? So here's a mantra. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. This is a powerful mantra. It's very similar to Om Namah Shivaya. It's more masculine. This is for Kali. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. Om Krim Kalikaye Namaha. So, have fun with these mantras. I mean, right? Have fun. And this is basically, it doesn't matter who they are or title they have in your life. If they don't stand with you, supporting you, cheering you, believing in you, even though it's a crazy, kooky fucking idea, unless it's about to harm you, and they know it's a harmful thing, well, and you kind of know that's a crazy, kooky idea where you could get harmed, you could go to jail, you could end up in a wheelchair, shit like that, then, like maybe think about it and go, what is this about me that wants to do X, Y, and Z that's kind of dangerous or not a healthy choice? Call on your guides, ask them, should I be doing this? Or is this some self-sabotaging shit I'm pulling on myself? Am I actually harming myself in some way? Be honest, okay? Don't be crazy. But if whether it's building a house with your bare hands or moving to a foreign country, like say Japan, teaching English, and your parents are just belittling, well, you never were really good in English. You were always struggling in English. Why are you going to Japan to teach English? And they put you down like that. Yeah, bye-bye. Kiss them on the cheek. See them in a year. Okay? So at that point, yeah, I would say yeah. Does that make sense? Any questions or comments? Thank you for all the love. I really appreciate it. Okay? So I will upload this. It will be called Father Wound and Mother Wound. You'll see it. It'll be the same image. And yeah, check it out. You'll have the list of the books I just said. And try to get those books on eBay. Sometimes don't do library shit, okay? Sometimes going to the library and getting out for 3 weeks and then the little late fees and then the gas getting there, just buy the damn book on eBay. Some of these books are like $4, free shipping and handling, and they're making like $1 per book, but they're selling 1 million copies, okay? So go on eBay, go on thrift books. Don't give Amazon money. The SOB has enough money as it is. Go on these, get used copies and fill up your library with really good content. On Audible, yes. Go ahead and go on Audible. What can you do? Or Sounds True. That's another company called Sounds True. I personally don't have them. I have over 200 books on my Audible. I'm not moving today. But I've been collecting books with my twins since 2014, so I'm not going anywhere. I've got a lot of books, so I'm not gonna. But if you're starting an Audible, maybe go to Sounds True or go to another company. I don't know. All right. Anything else? I want to send you so much love and thank you for being here and sending you much love on your journey. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Namaste. Be well.